So welcome back. So yes, we'll take it out from that point. We've got Abdullahi, who is the vice chairman of Buhari Media Organization. He joins us in Abuja, and right beside him, Nwokobia, spokesperson to Turaki Vanguard. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us again today. Well, let me start with Mr. Abdullahi. Many expected a speech from the president on that day, yesterday, but that didn't happen. Could you tell us, what was the thinking behind not giving a speech on his inauguration day?
Well, thank you, Chamberlain, for having me. I can't speak for the president's reasons for not actually giving the speech, but what we can only hazard a guess, or let me say my own thinking on that. I think perhaps because one reason is because you are aware that the government issued out a statement much earlier that this event, the swearing in, was going to be a low-key, and then the main event is coming on June 12th. So I think perhaps he wanted to really postpone most of this thing, including the inaugural speech, to that June 12th. And I can, maybe in my own opinion, I can see some reason to that. And this is why. You know, most of the ministers just handed over the activities of their ministries under them on 28 or 20, yeah, I think 28, just a day to 29. So, and you know, he's not coming for the first time. This is his second time. So it's not a flowery speech he's going to make. It's not something like a campaign speech or something he's planning to do, you know, when he came for the first time. Now he needs to give an account of what really happened or transpired in the first time. And he can only do that well if he study, for example, the reports from the various ministers or ministries that were handed over. So if he decide to do it on June 12th, that afford him quite a time that he will study this and give Nigeria a
all right, Mr. Abdullahi. All right, let me ask Mr. Nwokobia as well the same question. Chris, he suggests that, look, it will be making a mountain out of a molehill, emphasizing on a speech on the day.
Let me say, Chamberlain, that what is important to note is that for the first time, we always attempt to break records in the negative. All over the world, at your swearing in, you build hope. You give people some sense of expectation. You tell people what you're going to do, no matter how brief. You thank them for voting you, quote and unquote. And I think that my good brother here and friend started nicely when he owned up to the fact that he just wouldn't speak for the president. But attempting to defend the indefensible is where I always have a problem with my brothers on the other side. He could have just left it there. I want to say here, Chamberlain, that a poison chalice is a poison chalice. I think that it is difficult for our dear president to say what he will do. And don't forget that it is in the holy month of Ramadan. And he perhaps didn't want to lie to Nigerians. He perhaps didn't want to go off court. Because every so often you hear the APC and indeed this government talk, it's all perfidy, mendacity, deceit and chicanery. And perhaps our dear president didn't want to go that way. He just wanted to keep mute and perhaps wait until after the Ramadan to tell Nigerians what traditionally and typical of the APC they will tell us. Our country is more divided now than ever. There's terror, banditry, brigandage, rustling, and all kinds of terror everywhere. And people wanted to hear from our dear president what he would do. I saw the headlines, and I listened to you when the headlines were on, when you did talk about, one of them said speechless. When you're talking about a new administration, whether a second term or first term, one thing you must do is to build hope. Nigerians were looking at our president yesterday, and they wanted to hear from him what he will do in the next 4 years. They wanted to hear from him what he thinks of the last election. And you remember that it was when the late President Umar Yar'Adua was receiving the baton of governance, that he told Nigerians that the election that brought him to power was flawed, and promised that he was going to begin
all right, Mr. Nwokobia,
an electoral...
We'll go to break, but we'll come back and let Mr. Abdullahi speak to the issues you raised, and we'll take it from there. Don't go away. Welcome back. Mr. Abdullahi, straight away, let me ask you, I mean, from listening to Mr. Nwokobia, he thinks it's a missed opportunity for the president to build hope, not having given a speech on the day. Do you agree with that, or you think it will be better late than never?
Well, I've listened to my friend here, Nwokobia, and first you see, that's the problem when we're engaging people on the other side. He said I shouldn't actually air my own opinion, that I should have just kept quiet. You can see, you can imagine that. And secondly, he said perhaps the president doesn't want to lie because he's in the month of Ramadan. At least, well, let's accept at least he has given the president a credit that he doesn't lie. So I want to know, do you think the president would lie after Ramadan? What's the difference? If you can lie after Ramadan, why can't you lie now? So anyway, the thing is this. The president could have issued a speech that anyone would will have actually either applaud or criticize. We all know most of the problems, the issues, the challenges, and also where the government has done well. Just a few days back, he has done a media briefing with the sister channel. You know, Nigerians have listened to him. If you want to know what he wants to do in the next 4 years, the documents and so many avenues or platforms where the president has reeled out what the administration wanted to do at the next level. It's out there in the public domain. And the challenges he has discussed it, what the government is doing to tackle these challenges, whether it is security, whether it is the economy, or the fight against corruption, is there. And he has made it, he has said it time and time again. The central focus, even in the next level, will be on those three cardinal areas. The fight against corruption will continue, the fight against insecurity, then reviving Nigeria's economy. And the foundation has been laid. We have seen what the government has done in terms of infrastructures, in terms of diversifying the economy, in terms of stabilizing all our monetary and fiscal indices. So we are moving ahead onto the next level on all these three cardinal areas. He can come out and say that yesterday. But like I said, I believe, in my own opinion, he will want to have studied what the ministers will have handed over on the 28th of May, which is just 2 days back, and at least come up with a very holistic report that he will tender before Nigerians. And he wants to do that on June 12th. On June 12th, we are going to have that speech. Nigerians have been listening to the president. So if it is hope, you know, we have heard from him just even 2 days back. So, and again, do you rather someone come and read a flowery speech, you know, or do you want someone to come and give you an honest account of what he did in the last 4 years?
Let's toss that to Mr. Nwokobia straight away. Mr. Nwokobia, let's toss that to you straight away. Could you respond to it?
Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Those are the words of Sir Walter Scott. I am sure that my brother here was a bit disappointed yesterday when,
no, I'm not.
When our dear president didn't talk to the country. I am very certain that so many, I have friends who are in the APC and who wondered why even a 5-minute speech thanking Nigerians. But the question is, what is he going to thank Nigerians for? We have never had an election this flawed in our history because he came to power through a very flawed election. The stolen mandate is a heavyweight. You know
the matter I said.
The truth is that every so often we discuss our country, we must be fair to our people and understand what motivates certain actions. Like I said, but he was the one who finally nailed it, that our president perhaps didn't want to lie during the month of Ramadan.
No, you said so. I corrected it. If he
I want
cannot
to
lie,
say with the greatest
if he
sense of
cannot lie
respect,
now, he can't lie after Ramadan.
I let you talk. The greatest importance in this kind of fora, the reason we discuss our country is to make our country better. And I am here to simply say that our dear president must understand that he is not the principal. Governance and leadership is not the principal and the schoolboy normative. It is not the headmaster and the pupil normative. You owe your people explanations for certain actions. And in an auspicious moment like the handover or the swearing in of a president, all over the country, across the 29 states where people took oath of office, they spoke to their states. Our president is in the tradition of giving wrong examples to our children, and people who defend him defend the indefensible. I think that go around the world, it never happened. Don't tell me that there's a democracy day on the 12th of June. No, don't tell me that. You know, we lower all the bars in this country. In defending Buhari, we lower all the bars. He's never responsible for anything. He blames the police, he blames everybody but himself. And those who defend him blame everybody but Mr. President. And I think it's wrong. I have never seen it happen in the world where a president is sworn in and he doesn't speak to his people. And then don't forget that what is happening on the June 12th is celebration of Democracy Day. It's in remembrance of what happened in 1993. It is not the swearing in of a president qua swearing in of a president. So if a president is being sworn in, he owes the people, his nation, the duty to speak to them. Let us stop pretending and romanticizing issues that otherwise we should call what it is. Let's call a spade by its name.
All right.
It is not defensible.
Yeah, my apologies. I needed to quickly get Ali to respond before we move on to the next item. Ali, well, he insists that, look, you can't defend the indefensible.
I quite don't agree with that. I mean, you know, he is here. I don't know who's actually agenda he's promoting or even defending.
Agenda.
Come on, really, Professor Nwokobia. I know you. Come on, I know you. We have been on the same side before, you know.
That's why I
exactly.
said I stand
now
for
you are
Nigerian
now
agenda.
you are with Atiku. Even you are this.
No.
You are an Atiku person, but it's all right.
And we opposed
Professor
Jonathan in
Nwokobia,
2014. I am opposing.
You are an Atiku person. You are an Atiku person. It's all right.
On the side of the Nigerian
it's all right
people.
to be an Atiku person.
Speak to the Nigerian people.
But you see, so you can't tell me who to defend and actually whether an action is indefensible. I don't think so. If there is even one person in this country that deserves to be promoted or defended, I am telling you, it's President Muhammad Buhari. I will defend him today. I will defend him tomorrow. I will defend him next year. I will defend him even after he's long gone or has long left the seat. That's the kind of, and I have millions of people.
I hope he doesn't break your heart.
More than 15.
Like
Excuse me. More than 15 million Nigerians that have spoken with their votes.
No, they didn't.
And they will do that. They will continue to defend him.
They didn't.
And there are even more to come, you know, with the next level, who will actually gather more and garner more. For someone who has sacrificed himself, brought himself from retirement, you know, and tried to share the affairs of this country to actually bring us from the doom that your party actually put us in the last 16 years, you know, and we are trying and we are beginning to see all the hard work being paid, you know, the foundation that has been laid in this country, the destruction of all the country's assets that your party supervised in its last 16 years of leadership. Now you want to say that we shouldn't defend that man, the man that is, we know, you know, is an honest person that comes to do the right thing for the country? Really? You can defend Atiku and promote Atiku's agenda. I will not stop you, but you can't tell me I cannot defend President Buhari.
My country and your country.
The
issue is about the children at home who are listening to you.
You are a spokesman of Strikey. Who is Strikey? Let me ask you.
The issue is about how we move our country forward.
Exactly.
The issue is about
and I am telling you, you don't know how to move the country
laying a bad example because
just because he didn't offer his
Aliyu, just a minute. Okay, let's get Chris to respond, and then we'll take issues one after the other. Some other, please. Chris, could you go ahead?
Chamberlain, every so often we discuss our country. I think that I have always said that we must raise the bar. Always people tend to lower the bar to benumbing dimensions. We're talking about our country. We're talking about Nigeria. And interestingly, my brother here talked about me being on the other side in 2014, 2015. And I proudly opposed the government of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan because on several fronts he failed. In 2017, effectively, I left the APC.
And I'll tell you why.
Wait, I will answer you. I left the government because, and so many people left, because the government has not performed along the line of the slogan it gave to the Nigerian people, change.
Or because some expectation of appointment did not come.
I'm talking. That's the tiny snacks.
Really?
Let me say this.
Abdullahi, could you hold on? Let Mr. Chris make his point, and then you come in.
Chamberlain, let me say this, that when we discuss our country, we must be altruistic. We must think about the future of our children and our children's children. Defending the indefensible is a law. And I say this advisedly, that I am here to promote a national agenda. Our children are listening to us. I know about a child that asked the father, why did our president not talk after taking the oath of office? And they said he will talk on the 12th of June. That's what people are now saying. And then the point is, if you won a mandate, will you not thank the Nigerian people for giving you a mandate? Will you wait until June 12th to thank them for giving you a mandate? And they defend it. They defend everything. They will tell you, when there's insecurity problems, they will tell you, blame the police, blame the traditional leaders, blame the army. Nobody blames the president. And that's how he's fixing the country. But I think that the buck stops at the table of leadership. And Chamberlain, I must say that those who truly care about this country, statesmen and patriots, must begin to speak up. Let me tell you that over the past few months, we have had a fundamental referendum on the performance of the president and the APC. In 2014, 2015, the APC had 20 governors sworn in, as opposed to the PDP 9 governors. 4 years after, that was yesterday, the PDP had 15 governors sworn in and the APC 14. That tells you how much of a monstrous failure they are, and that tells you again how the Nigerian people have passed a referendum on them for too much talk and no action.
Okay, just hang on. Let me bring in Mr. Aliyu at this point. Just quickly, is that the case? Because he's mentioned some figures, some facts there. How do you respond to that?
All right, thank you, Chamberlain. Number one, let me respond to the issue that the president haven't thanked Nigerians for after voting him. I think that is not correct. That is not true. He has been thanking Nigerians since after the day the INEC actually declared him the winner of the election. I was in more than 3 platforms or places where the president thanked Nigerians. Even in the media interview he had with NTA 2 days ago, he did the same thing. But let's go back to the statistic he made about what APC lost and PDP gained in terms of state elections. You are not correct, Professor. Zamfara was not given to you by the people. You know that. Zamfara was given it to you by the courts. because you know what happened because of our own mistakes. I'm coming, Prop.
The clock came from Mars.
Prop, can I please learn, because I can do that to you. So Zamfara State was actually won by APC, but because of the internal issues the APC had due to the primary, whether it did the primary or not, that was why Zamfara went to PDP. Otherwise, you wouldn't be claiming 15 states here. I'm coming, you wouldn't be claiming 15 states here. Rivers, for example, we also knew what happened. We had issues with the congresses of APC in Rivers State. That's where APC was not on the ballot box. So you won't stay here and be claiming you have 15 states. I'm coming, but the people, the fundamental issue here, the people didn't vote for PDP in those states. You see, that's where I want to correct you. You are a man that you said you want to wait. Nwokobia,
could you just hang on?
You are the man that said you want to. Exactly, you are the one that said you want to talk Nigerian agenda. You want to tell your children the truth. So please, if you want to do that, say the truth at all material times. Let the history be reflected as it is. Do not attempt to change the history.
And do not allow falsehood.
Come on, really? Like I told you,
what is the truth he's not saying? What is he not saying?
Yeah, the truth, Chamberlain, is this. He said PDP had 15 states because it's a referendum on APC. And I'm telling him the reason why PDP had 15 states as against what APC had is because the court gifted the PDP a state, which the people of that state, Zamfara, did not actually vote for PDP. The people voted for APC with more than 500,000 votes, while the PDP had 200 and something votes, 200,000 votes. But because of the internal crisis within APC, that's why the state went to actually to PDP. It's not a referendum on APC, but rather it is our own internal problem that cost us the state of Zamfara. I'm trying to correct him, and he knows that's the truth, but he's trying to deceive the Nigerian people by telling them what did not happen. I said because he see himself, you see yourself as someone who speaks the truth, and also as someone who is speaking the Nigerian agenda. I don't think so. And number two, I know, you know, me and you know the reason why you actually left APC, you know, because we are on so many platforms, on so many platforms, and you are always complaining about appointments that didn't come your way. So many platforms, so many platforms. So it is not a Nigerian agenda. You are not fighting for the common man.
Welcome back, gentlemen. It's our concluding moment, and you both have 60 seconds to speak your mind. Mr. Aliyu, you first.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. One thing I want to say is in this second term of this administration, we're going to witness an increased level of governance, good governance from the administration of President Muhammad Buhari. I believe the first term or the last level, what we had was laying foundation after coming out from the rot of PDP's 16 years in power. Now we are going to see rebuilding, we are going to get to be rebuilding this country to a greater height, to the potential what this country can actually get to be. Nigerians should be patient with the President Muhammad Buhari. At least, if nothing, you have a man of integrity who will never touch one kobo of your money. And as he indicated when he actually declared his asset yesterday, before actually getting sworn in, he and his vice president, you have seen his asset, nothing changes in 4 years. How many past leaders can you say about that on them? Or people who actually sought this office in the last election? None of them can actually boast to say they can be that. So we're in good tracks.
Mr. Aliyu, thank you. Chris, what would you like to see in the
next 4 years?
I want to see a government, as it were, that is forthright, truthful, and committed to our country. But sadly, it's almost impossible for this administration to do so. But let me say this, that if a president says after 4 years that nothing has changed regarding his asset, then we're in trouble. Because if after 4 years nothing has changed, then he's perhaps it's perhaps impossible for him to transform our country. We all grow, you know. Look at the asset declaration. I don't know whether our president does indeed farm homosexual cows that do not procreate.
This kind of
I do not know what is happening with respect to those supporting him, thinking that poverty is a positive, thinking that priding in, if you like, in anti-corruption, when those who are around our president are manifestly corrupt. The wife has said that much, and nothing is being done. So I think that if we situate the fact that our president rose to power on a tripod, anti-corruption, fight insecurity, and perhaps insecurity and job creation, and if you find out that on these three cards, our president has failed woefully,
all right, Mr.
then we
Nwokobia,
have to pray for our country.
We need to go. And let's not forget, too, I mean, if a court doesn't declare one guilty, as maybe the courts say, I don't know if we can appropriately put certain tags on people. But I want to thank both of you for coming on today. Abdullahi, the Vice Chairman of Buhari Media Organization, as well as Mr. Chris Nwokobia, who is the spokesperson to Raki Vanguard. Thank you both for coming today on Sunrise Daily. Thank you for watching as well. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
And I'm Makinde, asking you to have a wonderful day.
Views and opinions expressed by guests on this program are those of the maker and do not reflect the views, opinions, and endorsement of Channels Television.